So I'll tell you one thing for certain, two things for sure. Okay. When you live an integrated life with the Lord, you'll be surprised how much of God you see in secular media. Let me run it down for you. So I am an avid manga, manhua reader. Okay. Japanese, Korean, Chinese, don't care. Love me a little Asian drama in the reading form. Okay. Um, I like that creatively. I like anime. That's just, it is what it is, right? I don't know if you can see it, but somewhere in the background over here on this bookshelf, there's like anime figurines and stuff that my husband has purchased. We're avid anime watchers, manga readers in this house. Okay, cool, calm and collected. Anyway, so I'm reading a manhwa right now. I believe it's Korean, called "I Will Master This Family." It's on top of. No, this is not. What is it? Sponsored, but they could hit me up if they wanted. Okay. Um, I'm reading I Will Master This Family. It's basically, I'm going to give you a lot of terms real quick. If you've never read a manhwa in your life, we're going to catch you up. Okay. It's a regression isekai. Let me break that down for you. Regression literally just means that someone dies, something tragic happens, and as they're dying, they say somewhat of a prayer in their heart, and they're like, if I could just do it again, I would do this right. I would have done my life different. And they just get snatched back, usually somewhere between 5 and 15 years back into their life, childhood, prepubescence, whatever. Okay. And then isekai is like a term specifically used generally with Japanese manga in which someone is transported, their life ends, they die, something happens, or they just come through a portal of some kind and they're transported from their world, the world that they knew, the first life they're living, whatever it is, and they get dropped somewhere else. Okay. They usually get their isekais are normally like a teenage boy is snatched up from his normal everyday life because he's like, the world is lame and I want to do something else. And then he gets dropped into a world with dragons and they're like, oh my God, you know what a cell phone is? What's a cell phone? Like that's normally how isekais work. But in regression isekais, basically what happens is that a character dies in their own life. They live usually to become a full-fledged adult with a lot of knowledge and connections. They die some tragic way and they regret the fact that they didn't get to do more with their life and all the knowledge that they gained and yada yada. So in the one that I'm reading, I Shall Master This Family. It's literally about a girl who is a part of a very affluent family, but it's written in like the historical noble kind of thing, right? So it has a lot of those historical elements of she's both a girl and her father was never fully married to her mother, so she's considered an illegitimate child and she's not eligible to take over the head of the family because she's a girl and social blah 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 blah, right? Okay, boom. Now that you've been caught up on both the premise and a little bit of the vernacular, vocabulary, yada yada, let me tell you what happened. So, her name is Ferencia Lombardi. All right. Ferencia is, again, born to the third son of the Lombardi family. The difference, though, is that unlike with other noble families, in Lombardy, because they are such a well-renowned family, they are well financed and well connected, and they are separate from the imperial family, yet equal to, if not more powerful than them in the land that they live in, because they create connections, they give money to the poor and to commoners who show a lot of talent and basically feed into and invest in these families that then support them with their loyalty. So she's a Lombardi. To be a Lombardi is like, it's a thing, okay? All right, like her granddaddy, the head of Lombardi, is that guy. And so what happens is her father is the third son. In a normal family of aristocrats, he would never have rights to head of the household, right? That's just usually passed down, given directly to the firstborn. However, in their family, it's based on merit. It's based on whoever is going to continue the legacy of how well Lombardy has been being ran, making those connections, making some sort of massive contribution to society, yada, yada, yada. So her father is very timid, soft-natured. He's very much like his mother. His mother passes when he's fairly young, so I don't even think her daughter has met him, Ferencia. So Ferencia becomes a grown woman, learns all of these things, and she watches as her family goes down this horrible pathway. They bet on the wrong person to be crown prince, and they're just very stuck up. They use Lombardi's money and connections to basically run the family into the ground. And at the beginning of the series, they're all executed. And so she's kind of having this thing at the beginning of the story. She's like, oh, well, these idiots, like they've managed to ruin a decade, like generation long legacy in 4 years since they kicked me out of the family because I was managing the finances and I was doing this and I'm more of a Lombardi than any of them. And so she's having this whole thing. She gets drunk, she falls in front of a carriage, she dies. Okay. I'm not spoiling too much. This is the first episode of the manhwa if you want to go read it for yourself. But she dies and she comes back to her six-year-old self. Like, she becomes a child. She goes back from being a grown woman with all of this knowledge to being a child. She is now a child with the mind of a 25, 30 something who has like learned and grown and who managed the family for her grandfather as he was dying. Okay, so she has all of the knowledge, all of the capability, all of the things that she needs to be prepared to be the head of the household done from day one as a child, right? She lives this life where she is balancing the narrative of like, haha, I'm just a 5-year-old. What do you mean? And having all of the knowledge and all of the foresight of what has already happened in her previously lived life and who these people are and who is the best person to make connections with. She comes into her childhood with all the things that she needs to be the head of the household, but she's in a body that's not yet prepared to hold that weight. So she grows up. As she gets older, she proves herself again and again and again. Her grandfather starts to look at her as like, this is who is my lineage. This is who's going to take over this family. The episode I just read, her grandfather calls her into a meeting that he's having with a fallen aristocratic family who has been ousted and has gone through something super negative. Basically, their land has been taken from them. There's this whole thing that's going on. Her grandfather calls her in and he's like, I'm placing you in charge of this. And he looks at the aristocratic man who's coming to ask for his help. And he says, you'll understand why I do this in a minute, but I'm calling in my granddaughter. You're in charge of all things that are going to deal with this family. And the man looks jostled because she looks like a teenager. She looks like a teenager who has no experience, no idea what she's doing, but she's pretty. She's got presence. And he's like, all right, I guess I'm going to trust Lombardi. Like, I feel the same presence off of her as I do her grandfather. And then she looks at him and says, Lord so-and-so, because I don't want to give too much away. But she says, Lord so-and-so. And he's startled and he looks up and he says, yes, Lady Florentia. And she says, from now on, if I'm going to help you, I'm going to do my utmost to do the best for your family that I can do. But the first thing I need you to do is from today on, I need you to walk with your head always held high and broaden your shoulders, because you are about to be the man who holds the name of this family and rightfully deserves to be the head. And he puts his shoulders back and he sits up and he says, yes, Lady Florentia. And in that moment, I'm reading all of this, going through all of this, and I'm like, why is the Bible coming to mind? I'm sitting here minding my business, reading my little manhwa. And in that moment, when she said, straighten your back, hold your head up, and broaden your shoulders, all I thought of is, and that's what you do as a child of the king. Because your father has conquered this world already. Greater is he who lives in you than he who is in the world. So hold your head up. Know your worth. Know who you are. And I'm not telling you to be prideful. I'm not telling you to be haughty. I'm not telling you to look down on anybody, but I am telling you to hold your head up and look straight ahead. Because your father is the king of the universe. So why should you bow your head and look down to anyone who looks to step on you, who looks to belittle you, who looks to steal, kill, and destroy? Why would you bow your head in fear in front of your enemies when your daddy, your father, the one who you are heir to, is king of the universe? Straighten your back. Broaden your shoulders. Keep your head up and know that your crown is only to be laid down at the feet of the master, bro. And I was sitting here minding my business, reading the manhwa, and I was like, oh, not a word, not a revelation. Okay, Jesus. So yeah, just PSA, invite Jesus into all the things that you do, and then you'll be minding your business. Excuse me, reading the manhwa, and he'll be like, let me just drop a little knowledge, a little pep talk, a little encouragement in your spirit. So have a blessed day. This beautiful Monday. Integrate your life.